This is a story in 3 acts about repairing a Thule Pannier bag which belongs to a colleague of mine. At the end of the 2nd act, I confidently edited this video and uploaded it to YouTube. And after I'd done that, I began to have nagging doubts which led to the 3rd and I hope final act. What may become clear in this project is that I did not ask enough questions at the outset. One question that I didn't ask is how the bag came to be broken in the first place. But evidently it did, and the hinge parts of the vanishing fixings were lost. And I was asked if I thought I could replace them with wooden parts. So I guess this is Act 1, in which I'm making a 1-hour prototype out of soft, easy to shape pine. So this is the finished prototype. I didn't think to ask to borrow the bag. Instead I took this into the office where I established that it was too wide and the pivots were in the wrong place. Which leads us to Act 2. I'm using this oak, which is a bit slower to shape, but I'm not doing tenons this time, so I can make both ends at once. Note how small the little peg is. So now we reach the end of Act 2. I have large, snug hinge pieces made from oak, one with a small fixed pin and one with a long sprung pin. I triumphantly took it into the office, I fitted it into my colleague's bag, and then came home to post this video. Act 3. Whilst posting the video, I was googling to find out what Thule called their vanishing fixings and why they didn't make spare hinge parts. And looking at the images, it dawned on me that I'd made a mistake. So, some lessons learned. 1. I should have borrowed the bag and done all this in one weekend instead of taking parts back and forth to the office for fitting. 2. I should have asked more about the original parts and how the mechanism worked. I would have learned about the stops and realised how critical the pivot placement was, and I would have learned, importantly, that the black grippers were not in their correct position, but were both pushed way in. I'd made my hinge blocks much too big. Making smaller blocks presented two problems. Keeping much shorter blocks fixed firmly would require a grub screw, which I got permission from my colleague to drill the holes for, and 2, shorter blocks meant no room for a sprung pin, so I had to slide the blocks into final position using fixed pins. Even before I'd realised my width error, I'd been a bit concerned about the small pin I'd used. It was mechanically quite weak and it was bearing all of the weight of the bag, so in this revision I replaced them with bolts and recessed nuts.